Hey, good morning, everyone. So, Capcom Cup is right around the corner here. Getting really excited about this. But in the meantime, at least Capcom showed off a few more V Skill 2s for some new characters today. It was during the Capcom Fighters Twitch, and it went on for about an hour. They showed a lot of the old characters that we've already seen so far. So I just want to focus on the brand new characters that they've shown. I'm going to summarize all the information that they explained to us so you guys don't have to, sit through the entire stream here. So the new V-Skill 2s that we've seen were Sakura, Birdie, Dhalsim, and Urien. So let's start with Sakura's. It's called Haru Hayate, and it's basically a roll. Sakura does a forward roll. So that's why Ken didn't get the roll. Sakura stole it. The roll goes pretty far. It goes about half screen, I would say. And the roll is actually pretty fast. Decently fast. Definitely faster than Poison's cartwheel. You can cancel Sakura's normals into it, similar to her V skill 1, which is good. But unlike Poison, you cannot go through the player with it. I'm not sure if that's the same if you knock him down, like you can't corpse hop with it. But in general, it seems you'll be stuck in front of the opponent. And so, using it as kind of like a normal cancel into some kind of reset, or a throw or something, you'd probably have to be careful with that. It'd be way too slow, I think, even with the being faster than Poisons. There's also a second part to this V skill, and you can do a rising knee attack follow-up at the end of this V skill. And you can do this by holding down V skill, and then she'll do the rising knee smash. The roll itself doesn't gain V gauge, but the knee, of course, does. It's a small amount, looks like around 15-20%. If you do land the knee, though, it puts the opponent into a juggle state, which you can then combo afterwards, like comboing into a DP, for example, which is nice. It's actually pretty good corner carry in general. You can use this roll as kind of a side switch, though, as an anti-air. I mean, you're not actually it's not an offensive anti-air, but let's say you're in the corner and someone tries to jump to cross you up, you can use this V skill to switch sides and put them in the corner, similar to how Poison would work in that aspect. But just keep in mind that if you hold down the V skill and you do the knee attack after you cross them up, after they jump over you, the knee does not auto-correct, unlike Poison. So then you'll just knee thin air, so I wouldn't recommend just holding it down all the time. You can use this roll offensively, though, which is interesting because Sakura has a really slow fireball if you charge up. So for example, if you go full screen with Sakura, do a charge fireball, you can start rolling in front of it, using it to cover you, similar to how Guile uses V skill 1 before the Sonic Boom nerfs, that is. Or it'd be even a lot easier when you have V trigger 1 with Sakura, since you can straight up just cancel the fireball, right, whether it's the EX version or whatever, into the V skill. So that's actually pretty good for Sakura's pressure. I do feel like one of Sakura's main weaknesses is she has problems against zoners, the good zoners. And it's hilarious because during the Capcom stream, they're all like, yeah, if you have to ask us any questions and all that, and like the entire chat was just scrolling with, does this roll go through fireballs? And I was thinking that myself, like, does it go through fireballs? But they never answered that question. It's like just not, like 90% of everyone was asking that, but I'm going to assume it does not go through fireballs. I figured if it did, they would mention it because it'd be something so obvious. That's not to say that it's bad, though, because like I said, this offensively, this could be good for Sakura, since like the roll is pretty damn fast. Another interesting thing about the roll attack, the knee attack, is you can combo into it. So just her normal B&B is like standing medium punch, back heavy punch, into the charge V skill, into uppercut. Really, really great corner carry. You gain V gauge and good damage as well. So I'm actually really happy about that. I like when they add V skills that you can combo into and just give more choice on what you do during your B&Bs instead of just doing the same thing over and over, flowchart over and over again. They showed one more V trigger 1 combo, same thing, standing medium punch, back hard punch into the EX fireball, and then into the V skill, and then into the DP for a little bit more damage with more scaling. You don't want to just throw this thing out, though. The knee is -7 on block, so if the pushback is not too far, then you're gonna get blown up for it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. My only question for it, I guess, is does it go through fireballs? And if it doesn't, This might be. I mean, I think Sakura's V Skill 1 is pretty bad in general. I used to complain about this when she was first released. It's just not that good. If the dive kick was maybe better, if they buffed that up, maybe it'll be more practical for her to get in. It's not that good against projectiles either in general. So I'd rather just go full offensive with Sakura, you know, do a charge fireball and then roll and go after the opponent. I would rather do that. So Sakura players, let me know what you think about that V skill too. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about Birdie. So Birdie's was definitely the most interesting out of the 4 characters they're showing off. I was thinking in my head, like, how could they top off Birdie's V Skill 1? Because Birdie's V Skill 1 is so good. In the variety, you can just gain V gauge of the banana peel, and the pop can is so good. So they definitely had to match that. So Birdie's V Skill 2 is called Chewing Time. And Birdie starts chewing bubblegum. And this does gain him V gauge. So you can just chew the gum just normally. He'll gain in V gauge, that way V Skill 1 won't compete too hard with it. And it still gives him a fair amount of it. However, if you hold down his V Skill, he will actually blow a bubble with the bubble gum. And the bubble's expanded in front of his face, and Birdie can actually move around while this bubble is expanded in his face. You can crouch, you can walk around, but you cannot dash with the bubble, and you cannot jump with the bubble. Thank goodness, because this V skill seems pretty good. Now, when you have the bubble in front of your face, if you press light punch, you will just simply pop the bubble and cancel it. If you press medium punch, then you'll send the bubble in an arc as a projectile attack. If you press heavy punch, the projectile attack will go even further and then at a higher arc. And if you press a kick button, doesn't matter which kick button, it will make the bubble grow bigger, and therefore the projectile is bigger. And you can grow this bubble into 3 levels of size, where it's absurdly big, like beach ball big bubblegum. And yeah, this bubble in front of his face is actually a projectile, and because of that, it has a projectile hitbox while in Birdie's mouth. So if you hold it in your mouth and someone throws a fireball, like Ryu throws a fireball, whatever, you can literally just walk into Ryu's fireball, and the bubble will take the hit for you, kind of like a shield, so to speak, right? Really, really interesting. The projectile also moves very, very slow, so this will be very annoying. If you hit Birdie while he has the bubble charged in front of his face, he will get counter hit and probably crush counter because he's in a counter hit state. This bubble is absurdly plus, something around plus 12 they said on hit, and it doesn't matter the size of the bubble, the frame advantage is the same, but you can land some fat damage after you hit them with this bubble attack, pretty much any button you want, especially if you're not holding it in front of your face. Now, I don't think I have to explain to you guys why this bubble is good. You can just look at it and already know it's good. You thought this was a bad matchup for Zangief. Now, they better give him Green Hand to handle this, because this is ridiculous. This bubble is going to give him really good Oki. It's going to give him really good pressure. And you can even zone with it on characters that are really bad against zoning. If Birdie, I mean, geez, if Birdie is able to zone with this a little bit, he'll be able to pop off more V skills and thus get V gauge and get his V triggers earlier. And there's just so much with this, just because of Birdie's kit is so absurd. I mean, don't get me wrong, the banana peel and pop can are really very, very good, but this is very unique and definitely a big buff for Birdie in general. And I do like the idea that if it suits the character perfectly and definitely changes how he is played. Man, Birdie. Whew. Really good V-skill design, I like it. Okay, let's talk about Dhalsim. So Dhalsim, going from Birdie to Dhalsim, definitely wasn't too impressed with this. So Dhalsim is called Yoga Deep Breath. And what happens is Dhalsim absorbs fire into his mouth. And this could also be done in the air, so he's basically building the stock. It doesn't gain V gauge when he does this. And what this does is it enhances his next projectile attack to bounce on the floor, just like Lucia, for example. And it now does 2 hits. So it basically does act like Lucia, where you can control space for a little bit longer. Charges quite fast, and his EX Fireball will do 3 hits, which is actually really good. You can keep the charge even if Dhalsim gets hit, which is very nice, because that's kind of rare for some characters. So it'll be worth the effort to get that charge. And when you land a hit with it, it's plus 4 on hit at least, because I saw Dhalsim land that standing light kick. Unless standing light kick's 5 frames, someone correct me if I'm wrong. But he's at least plus 4 on hit, because you can combo afterwards on the normal projectile. You're also on EX, you're plus enough to do crouching heavy punch afterwards, but I'm pretty sure you can do crouching heavy punch on a normal EX fireball anyways, but it's probably absurdly plus because, like I said, it does 3 hits. This could be good for the same reason why Dhalsim uses EX Fireball in general. He uses it because he needs a horizontal projectile to control that space, and he can go for mix-ups by teleporting on each side to guess a left and right. This will allow Dhalsim to save some bar because his super is quite threatening if he saves the meter for his super. And this should also be very, very easy for Dhalsim to get out. This is not something like Alex where, it's hard to say if Alex will be able to just, pop up V-Skill 1 or 2 whenever he wants. Dhalsim, on the other hand, can get really high up on the screen, and he can just do this in the air, get his charges in the air where he's relatively safe, and he can teleport backwards and use it, things like that, right? So I don't think it's going to be hard to get this constantly stock with Dhalsim. I just think that Dhalsim's V-Skill 1 is not bad. Like, the float is not bad. It definitely helps him keep the character out for as long as he possibly can, and also bait a lot of things, anti-airs, make players second guess themselves. So you don't want to slouch on V-Skill 1. But if the Dhalsim player, I feel, wants to be a little bit more aggressive, I feel that this V-Skill 2 will give him more options, like I said, without spending that bar. And like I said, that 3 hits on that EX Fireball is quite good. Okay, moving on to our last character they showed off, which was Urien. So Urien, oh man, I forgot to write down what the name of it was. Damn. But anyways, Urien's V-Skill 2, well, someone will say in the comments, basically he charges lightning, or I guess thunder, in his hands, and he builds up a stock, and this powers up his projectile as well, just like Dhalsim. The fireball he shoots is just like that super he has from Street Fighter 3. Forgot the name of that as well, sorry guys. And this projectile is very large, more vertical than a sphere. It's like I said, it's a super, so it controls a lot of vertical space. I'm not sure if you're really close, if you can even jump over this thing. It's huge. And it will slowly move and then slowly return to its original size of its normal projectile, where it's a sphere. What's really crazy about this enhanced fireball, though, is that the normal enhanced fireball will do 3 hits. Like, not 2, 3. And the EX version will do 5 hits. Just absolutely insane amount of hits. So I'm like, man, you can't armor through this projectile, you know what I mean? But also keep in mind that, like I said, as it returns to its original form, full screen, the projectile will go back to 2 hits from 3. I'm not sure about the EX version. I'm assuming probably 3 if I were to guess. Like I said, this can be used to buff the EX versions, which gives it an absurd amount of hits. And if you do the EX version really close to the opponent, you can juggle with your coral kick, the down forward hard kick, or your forward medium punch afterwards for a quick juggle reset. I'm not sure about the normal projectile up close. Probably can combo after it. And another thing too to point out is if Urien is hit, he will not lose the stock. So once again, man, Alex is getting really jealous about this. So that's really good. The charge itself does not gain V-Gauge. You do have to land the projectile. And they showed off charging the projectile. It doesn't seem to add any extra properties other than what it already does, which is slow down the projectile or speed it up. But in terms of adding extra hits, it doesn't seem to do that. This is a pretty good V-Skill for Urien. His V-Skill 1, I wouldn't say is lackluster, but it's definitely underwhelming. It's mostly used to help Urien, basically get in easier rather than dashing and then getting blown up for it, or having a little bit more reliable anti-air with the headbutt. But I think Urien players, since they kind of run into that situation where they have to zone for a bit and wait it out so they can get that dash in and start their pressure, I think this V-Skill 2 would be very enticing to want to use, and it's a more reliable way, I think, of gaining V-Gauge in general. I'm sure when you mix this up with V-Trigger 1, it's going to create some more crazy setups for him. And yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with this one, with Urien's kit. Like I said, everything basically revolves around his V-Trigger, and just having him more powerful anti-airs if he lands that crouching heavy punch, and more setups in general is always great for Urien players. And it's cool because it's, it's a nod to Street Fighter 3 because of that, old school super animation. So that's it for the 4 characters, guys. Like I said, I learned some new information about the older characters before, but we'll do that in a separate video because I know you guys just want to see the new characters for now. I don't think they've shown anything else on Twitter for any more characters on V-Skills. I think there's going to roll out with a whole bunch of information at Capcom Cup this weekend. I'll try to keep you guys as informed and up to date as I possibly can, but I'm sure we're going to get a massive amount of information this weekend. I'm going to be super busy, and I'll do my best, guys, okay? So let me know what you guys think about these new V-Skills so far, and yeah, keep you guys posted, all right? Take care, everyone. Peace.